being able to perform under pressure isn't just exclusive to music. That's a valuable skill that's going to be everywhere. We will always be under high pressure situations, and how we handle that is a big part of how we'll have success. As someone who's been in lots of high pressure situations, how do you stay in this flow? How do you keep your mind centered, whether it's a musical high pressure situation or just a regular one that comes across in daily life?
So in terms of pressure, for me, it's a battle in my own brain many times. I'm trying not to like imagine something going wrong or a shaky bow or something or a memory slip. So one is just over practicing to the point of like, oh, I hate the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto because I'm so sick of playing it over and over again. My usual, like, I have to run through it beginning to end twice every day and then do slowly once, which takes me 4 hours. I hate that. But come next weekend when I'm playing it with my school orchestra and I'm really feeling the pressure, it's going to pay off rather than that little. And so I try to do that. I try to really feel like I'm over prepared. That's one thing. Another thing that I think in my head is I sometimes am very guilty of thinking that my colleagues in the Philadelphia Orchestra are hoping that I'm going to screw it up. Isn't that sick? It's horrible. Like, not consciously like, oh, Bob over there thinks I'm going to screw up and he loves it. Not like that, but just this kind of like insecure
Bob.
feeling. Insecure feeling. So it just hit me. Like last year, I was like, wait a minute. When my friend, the principal flute, has a big solo, I am just like, come on, Jeff. You are the best flutist in the world. Do what you're put on this earth to do. I'm so like rooting for him. I'm in his camp. And it goes with everybody, like in the entire orchestra. I feel that about them when they have solos and I thought, wait a minute, they feel the same way about me. And so that hopefully, or at least I like to think so.
Except
And so
Bob.
that's another thing. I really try to remember, even while I'm playing, come on, they want you to, you're representing the orchestra. They don't want you to fall on your face. And then the last thing is, for people like us who've played our whole lives, had the best training money can buy and all this stuff, it's kind of like any athletic move or game that you're playing. Like or something as simple as walking, if you're like looking at your feet and you're not looking ahead and you're too caught up in every little piece of technique, like, okay, I'm going to pivot this arm back while I pivot this arm forward, and then I'm going to keep my head pretty quiet. Like, you don't think that when you just walk. And I try to do that with the violin playing. I find that I play my best on stage under super pressure, like Carnegie Hall, Scheherazade at Carnegie Hall. For me, that's as pressure filled as it gets. And I just try not to think about, okay, keep your bow straight and make sure to pronate. And like, no, I just sometimes just like say, okay, you have played the violin your whole life. Go do what you're supposed to do. And
Let's
that's
go
it.
do the thing.
It's almost like I go out of my body and I'm like up here looking down. I'm like, okay, go for it. Just do it.
It's the flow
It's
state.
incredible.
Yeah. Can I hop in and just say, like, as a violist,
Yeah, Drew.
I don't know what that feels like with people rooting for you. I just feel like, when the viola solo comes up, the concertmaster's like, okay, bro. Okay.
It's Bob.
Are you
Bob's
going to play in
judging
tune?
Yeah.
Is your bow shaking? I wanted to share that. So that I really am so thankful that you gave such a thorough, clear description of your mental process when it comes to dealing with stage fright, because we recently had an episode on the Faking Nose podcast about stage fright and conquering it and deconstructing it. And the way you framed it as like a mental battle is just, it's the mental. And when you prepare the body, it's like you're loading your weapons, you're polishing your sword, and you're getting ready to battle the demons that are going to pop up when you inevitably have something go awry on stage. And so if your weapons are polished and they're ready, you can defeat that enemy. Thank you, because like it's not something that's talked about in school. It really isn't. Not. It's just like, go ahead, just practice more so you don't forget the notes next time.
Well, I mean, Drew, I have to say though that that's what works for me. What I keep telling my students is, I'm giving you definitely some jumping off points, but really in the end, through trial and error, you have to figure out what works for you. And if that means like, oh, I have to eat 3 Chipotle burritos before I go on stage, I don't know what. I'm just anything.
Yeah,
That's my
no,
excuse.
Anything.
That's my
I mean,
excuse.
hey,
No, I'm going on stage.
Protein.
I have to do this. It's my process.
Just through trial and error, through lots of little performances, run-throughs in front of people, whether it's in your dorm room in front of your next door neighbor, or if it's in front of playing at your church on a Sunday, whatever, just to finally do enough of it to start discovering, wait a minute, I should not, like, this is something I discovered. On a day of a big concert, I will not eat a meal with another musician. The reason is, say a patron might want to go out and take me out to lunch or something, and they start talking about like, oh, this young man was here last year and he was playing the same piece you're playing and he had a huge memory slip. He recovered beautifully. Like,
It's just like, I'm gonna drop this nuke, this timed nuke.
Anyways, good luck.
Exactly.
It's just
yeah,
Have fun
exactly.
dealing with that. Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating. That kind of stuff happens. We all know exactly. So
Oh, okay.
that's one of my rules, along with, eating a banana or whatever,
Yeah.
running 2 miles. I just do not let anybody near me to get into my head. And another thing I do is I drive slowly and early to the hall. Like, I try to do everything like slowly, like talk slowly, walk slowly, and then I get to the dressing room really early, and then I play through the whole piece really super slow. And then when I walk on stage, I try to walk slow, because I know myself. I speak fast, I think fast, I do everything fast. And when I'm nervous, it's even 5 times as fast. So even though I feel like I'm kind of in slow motion, I know it's just normal, but I'm just trying to slow that internal engine down right away, because I just know it's going fast. My engine is calibrated too fast.
That's really fascinating. And so how did you discover that about yourself? Like, do you journal? Do you like go back and watch the game tape? Because that takes a lot of, like what you said earlier, self-awareness that most people don't have.
No, it's called Jane Kim. That's my wife's name.
like, there we go.
My wife is, constantly like, you don't have to run between here and there. You can just walk. You don't have to say it 1,000 miles an hour. Just, she's constantly kind of telling me stuff, and also I teach a lot. So when I'm at Mercer University, I'm constantly working with young people who are getting nervous and getting ready for whatever audition for a summer festival or grad school, or maybe even to audition for a job with the Atlanta Symphony or something. And I'm just trying to give them these tools that 1 or 2 of those things might stick with them.